Are you tired of modern feminist sermons about toxic masculinity delivered by bagel writers? Are you exhausted with hip, woke hackers in your rainbow barf game? Are you going to melt down if you see Deborah Wilson's face in another game? Well, boys, there's a magical place you can escape to, and it's called video games prior to 2018. Fat, cat-owning feminists are hoping you will forget, boys. They're hoping you will forget Metal Gear and Splinter Cell and Twisted Metal and Mega Man and Gears and all of the unfathomably based games we used to play. But we will not forget. I have assembled a list of what I think are the 25 most based video games of all time. Now, how did I define based for this list? To me, a based game simply means a game that rejects modern societal brainwashing. I think a game is based when it rejects woke homo politics. A game is based when it is pro-masculinity and pro-femininity. A game is based when it has positive views about things like Christianity, religion, nationalism, and the military. A game is based when it's difficult. High difficulty makes a game more based, in my opinion. And finally, a game can also be based just because it's funny and edgy and crude sometimes. A few other considerations. Number one, I'm sorry if your favorite game is not on the list. I'm sure there are thousands of games like EVE Online and Kenshi and some random JRPG that are very based, but I unfortunately cannot play everything, and this is my personal list. Number two, I threw a few oddballs in here. Red Dead 2 is obviously on this list, but you don't want to sit here and listen to me talk about 25 games you already know about. Number three, I tried to include games you can play right now on modern hardware. And number four, I tried to include both multiplayer and single-player games. All right, boys, let's get into it. Number 25, Freedom Fighters.
So I ask you now to take up arms against the evil invaders and yell in their faces that they will never take our freedom.
I have never played a game that needed a reboot as badly as 2003's Freedom Fighters. You are a plumber in New York City, and the country is being invaded and taken over by Russians, so you have to organize your fellow Americans to take up arms and fight back the invading Russian armies. It's the video game version of Red Dawn. This game could never come out today because it's way too patriotic and based for the soy boy beta cucks over at IGN. This would blow their minds. Oh, and the main chick still looks pretty good, even though this came out on PS2. When you capture a building, you get on the roof and claim it by waving the American flag. Guys, this game is going to give you a freedom boner. If you like this kind of game, I would also recommend Homefront and Homefront the Revolution. You can play Freedom Fighters in the Steam store, or you can get an original copy on Xbox or PS2, but there aren't any other ways to play it. Number 24, LA Noire. You guys know I love GTA, but is there anything more based than just being a regular beat cop, minding your own business, collecting evidence, putting people behind bars, and occasionally grabbing a drink with a dame in 1940s LA? If you liked Mad Men, I think you will like LA Noire. Even though Rockstar made it, it is truly the opposite of GTA in every way. You play a good guy doing regular police missions in Los Angeles in the 40s. The facial capture was groundbreaking for its time, and so you actually need to watch people's faces to figure out if they're lying or not, and I've never seen another game do this and actually pull it off. What makes the game so based is that it doesn't take any of our modern sensibilities and project it onto the game world. LA Noire truly shows the time period as it was. Most women are housewives, men are funny and edgy and inappropriate, your partner is super racist, etc. The gameplay can be a bit repetitive sometimes, but I appreciate LA Noire's devotion to a time period and not censoring anything by injecting modern woke nonsense. The remastered version is perfect and can be played on PS5 and Series X. Number 23, the Mafia games. Mafia 1 with Tommy Angelo and Mafia 2 with Vito Scaletta are definitely the best GTA-type games out there that follow a straight sort of Italian mob story. If you wanted a GTA-style game that ditches the humor and silliness and instead gives you essentially a video game version of The Godfather, you're going to get that here. What makes these games so based is that they're steeped in Italian culture, the mob, family, loyalty, sacrifice, and all of these things that we have to deal with in life as men. I think Mafia 3 is okay, but it was weird because it totally ditched the whole Italian mob thing and you play as a black guy in the South. You can watch my video about that. Hangar 13 is about to come out with a new Mafia game in a few months, so replaying these games would get you ready for it. Mafia 1 was completely recreated in 2020 with gorgeous graphics, and it's called Mafia Definitive Edition. The problem is that they censored a few things in this game, like, quote, problematic music and problematic pinup girls were removed. So if you want the real experience, you still have to find the 2002 game. With Mafia 2, I would just play the original 2010 game instead of the 2020 version. They barely improved the graphics at all in the 2020 remaster of Mafia 2, and you know they did some woke censorship in there, I'm sure, as well. Number 22, Tom Clancy's The Division. So it turns out if you take the gear and loot system from the old Diablo games and you combine that with a Tom Clancy game, it's some kind of crack that my body can't handle, because I put 1,500 hours into this game back in 2017. I still pop in from time to time and see people killing each other in the Dark Zone, and it makes me happy. The Division 1 really was a phenomenon. I still think The Division is the coolest concept for a game, and they mostly pulled it off. You arm up and take back New York City from thieves and burglars, but you enter the Dark Zone and screw over other players as well. 2016 was a time when Ubisoft actually put in the effort to make their games gorgeous. All of the cosmetics in the game look realistic, and almost nothing in the game is goofy. But what really hooked me about The Division is the fact that your gear levels aren't normalized when you step into a PvP area. So basically, if you grinded for 100 hours to get the very best guns and armor in this game, it would make you way more powerful than everybody else, as it should. What's the point of grinding for the best stuff if it won't let you blow other players away? I remember Destiny did this thing where it would normalize your gear in PvP modes, and I always thought that was very lame, and it was cool that The Division does not do that. You're probably not going to put 100 hours into this game, so what I suggest doing is picking it up very cheap and just play the Survival DLC. Guys, the Survival DLC, which came out in 2017, was like several years ahead of our modern obsession with roguelikes. You truly have to play this game mode to see it. It is one of the funnest gaming moments I've ever had. I've made several friends playing this game. On the surface, I think The Division seems like a Gears of War clone or something, but there's a lot of beauty and complexity going on here. The Division 2 was super woke and lame, but this one was good. Number 21, Batman Arkham City. Isn't it depressing that this studio's most recent game was Suicide Squad? What makes this game so based is it's telling an authentic masculine Batman story where he is a total badass, saving Gotham, and there's all these hot temptresses constantly trying to distract him. Also, from a gameplay standpoint, I think Arkham City changed melee fighting games forever and is still the benchmark for this sort of thing. Arkham Asylum felt maybe too small. Arkham Knight, the Batmobile gets boring quick, but Arkham City had that perfect mixture of amazing story, great gameplay, and Batman just cruising around the city, smashing villains' heads into air conditioners. You can play it on Series X or PS5 right now. Number 20, Far Cry 2. So if you want to play a game with an awesome story where you crash land on an exotic island and save your friends that has really fun gameplay, play Far Cry 3. You know, it's a great game, it's a proven formula, and every Far Cry game after 3 basically copied that same formula. But if you want to play African Militia Warlord Simulator in a really hostile country where everything wants to kill you and it's really bleak and nihilistic, play Far Cry 2. What makes this game so based is that it's the only game I've ever played that ditched all the video gamey nonsense and actually makes you believe you are the person in the game doing these actions. You are a militia guy there to kill people. There's no mini games, no leveling up, no skill trees, no weapon skins, no video gamey ass nonsense. Also, you never leave the first person perspective, so the atmosphere and immersion in this game is absolutely peak. Also, it's really, really difficult, and I recommend playing it on the hardest difficulty for peak immersion. Far Cry 3, 4, 5, and 6 are all fun games with lots of video gamey stuff to do. Far Cry 2 is almost meant to confront you with the bleakness of what it means to be a contract killer in a foreign country. I popped into it recently and I was messing around with the buddy system a bit more. Basically, you have these totally optional buddies in the game you can help out, and they help to make the game sort of less lonely. It also lends a much needed narrative to the game. So the game isn't on PS5, but you can definitely play it on the Series X, the Xbox 360, and the PC, and also the PS3. Also, I should mention that Far Cry 5 is accidentally pretty based as well. Check out the song Keep Your Rifle by Your Side. It's funny because Ubisoft wanted you to hate the cult in this game, and yet this is the most based song of all time, and it's about the villains in the game. So yeah. Number 19, Yakuza 0. I was told Yakuza 0 is basically Japanese GTA, and man was that person wrong. Yakuza 0 is a prequel to the Yakuza games, and it is unfathomably based. It takes place during the economic boom of the 1980s in Japan, and you follow the story of two exiled Yakuza, Kiryu and Majima, who show up in the other games a lot. The Yakuza games are masters of the likable, warm-hearted criminal who has been disgraced and done wrong. In these games, you're a Yakuza doing gangster stuff, and there's loads and loads of mini-games and side activities. The actual fighting in the game feels a bit dated, and it's almost like you're playing a Dreamcast game, but it can be enjoyable. What makes Yakuza 0 so based is its story. The game has one of the best stories and some of the best voice acting and character development I've ever seen in a game. It's about 30 to 40 hours long, and to me, the gameplay is kind of the least interesting part, so you might just want to watch this game played on YouTube instead of playing it. The game is available on PS4, PS5, Xbox, and all modern systems. Number 18, the Grand Theft Auto series. The thing that makes GTA so based is that it doesn't really care about your feelings or your modern politics or your delicate sensibilities. It is one of the funniest and edgiest game series you will ever play, as I often say on my channel. Now, I doubt this trend will continue with GTA 6 because they have 500 purple-haired lesbians working for them now, but what I can say for sure is that GTA San Andreas, Vice City, GTA 4, and GTA 5 are some of the edgiest and funniest games you can play to this day. I mean, there's a radio station in San Andreas that makes fun of trans people. Come on. Can you imagine that in a game today? Now, I know for some people going back and playing the original games can be hard because so much has changed with game controls and things like that. If you are the one person on Earth who has never played a GTA game, I would honestly recommend GTA 5. People hate on it because of GTA Online, but the fact is that GTA 5 is still one of the best stories ever in a video game, I think personally. It has really fun gameplay and action, so do yourself a favor and play the campaign for GTA 5, and it's of course available on everything. Number 17, The Saboteur. Did you guys know all it takes is a few edgy Zoomer YouTubers to convince quite a few people that the Nazis were the good guys? Guys, it's cringe. Hitler invaded 20 countries unprovoked. The dude wanted to exterminate all the non-white people. World War II was not about saving the Jews. It was about saving the 390 million people who lived in Europe in 1940. While I do agree that the Nazis are too often the punching bag in every modern story and movie, and many of the things that they were fighting for were admirable, guys, the Nazis are the bad guys. I seriously can't believe that people disagree with me on this. And that's why America and Britain and Canada and Australia had to come all the way to Germany in 1943 and push their shit in. But anyways, all this to say, the Nazis are objectively the bad guys. So moving on, did you ever want to play a GTA game, but it's the 1940s and you're beating up Germans instead and bringing freedom to France? Of course you did. In The Saboteur, you play as scrappy Irishman Sean Devlin, who is a total player and a race car driver, and is working for the French underground to take down the Nazis. The most unique thing about this game was that when you go into an enemy area, everything is red and black, and when you bring freedom to that area, the color returns to it. The story is actually pretty great in this game. Sean is a race car driver using that as a cover, and there's loads of fine women trying to hook up with him constantly. It's fantastic. One thing that's slightly better than GTA here is the parkour system. Saboteur had a pretty great parkour system where you could approach objectives from multiple angles and scale structures. So what is based about the Saboteur? Well, it's based because it reminds me of the golden era of video games, back when games were just escapist male fantasy. You know, you're a race car driver, there's tons of hot women, you're blowing stuff up, and you're killing Nazis. The Saboteur is super underrated. It is a great game. Try to put your hands on it. You can play it on the EA app on PC, but otherwise you'll have to get an original copy for 360 or PS3. Number 16, the Call of Duty series. I would have Call of Duty higher on this list if the recent games had not gone fully gay and woke the past 5 years. If you remember from my recent COD video, Black Ops 6 makes a point of mocking and laughing at its old fans, and so many people keep buying these games even though they're garbage now. But it wasn't always this way. Call of Duty was ultra-based for like 15 years. World at War, the torture scene, the Russians storming the Reichstag and planting their flag, Price nuking the satellite in orbit, being betrayed by General Shepard in MW2, the opening mission in MW1 where you play as President Yasser al-Falani getting assassinated. Call of Duty wasn't just based back in 2007, it was actually pushing the medium forward as well. Can you imagine games like Medal of Honor and Call of Duty coming out today that are unapologetically pro-military and pro-America? I mean, I understand that the modern warfare games are complex and geopolitical and often question the actions of the American government as well, but it wasn't until 2020 or so that Activision began to show its true gay colors and depict America as the bad guys. So first off, if you want to play the old games, make sure you don't give gay communist Activision another dollar, so never buy these games digitally. I would recommend buying a physical copy on Amazon of some of these old games. World at War is probably one of the best campaigns of all time. Modern Warfare 2, another incredible one. If you can get your hands on a physical copy, I think COD World War II from 2017 was actually the last good COD campaign. Just make sure modern woke Activision doesn't get any of your money. Number 15, Gears of War. Marcus Phoenix is unfathomably based. Gears 1 starts with him being broken out of prison to fight the Locust. He was put there because he deserted his post in order to save his father. He's cynical of his own military, yet he knows the COG are humanity's best chance for survival. So it's a complex situation. What makes the first 3 Gears games so iconic is that they are a boots-on-the-ground war story about brotherhood, devotion, duty, and sacrifice. The twists and turns in the story make you feel the bonds of brotherhood. Woke Microsoft in 2016 made Kate Diaz the main character of Gears 4. It's a cringe, pro-abortion, pro-gay, pro-degeneracy, homo story, and I will never buy another Gears game after the original trilogy. And isn't it funny? Microsoft knows these new games are shit. Why do you think they keep remastering and re-releasing the first 3 Gears games? Because it's the only ones that the fans liked. I honestly think they need to bring Cliffy B back, pay the dude $10 million and tell him to make more Gears games. Another thing that makes Gears so incredibly based is the difficulty. I challenge you to play Gears 1 and put it on insane difficulty. It is one of the best balanced and most tensely difficult games I have ever played. Even the hardest difficulty on Gears 4 was an absolute joke. This fall, Gears 1 is coming to PS5. I recommend it. Number 14, Metal Gear Solid. The Metal Gear Solid series is literally like taking the plot of every American 80s action movie, running it through Kojima's wacky Japanese filter, and turning it into a game. If you think Kojima is super original, all you need to do is watch a few movies from the 80s and you'll see literally everything from Metal Gear Solid was copied from a movie. Now, I don't hate this at all. 80s action movies are the best movies, so the dude copied very well. These games are so based, firstly, because they single-handedly created the stealth genre. They popularized games playing like movies, and of course, they introduced us to the ultra badass Solid Snake who all the ladies want. What starts as a secret mission in Shadow Moses Island becomes substantially crazier as we are introduced to a team of enemies that have paranormal powers and want to kill us. While MGS is one of the most influential games of all time, I find it can be a bit tough to go back to because of the weird controls. The only Metal Gear game with modern controls is MGS5, and a lot of the fans feel like it's one of the weakest entries in the series. So while the first 3 games are obviously the best, their controls can be very weird to get back into. So I'm really hoping Metal Gear Solid Delta is good so that we can kind of have the best of both worlds, play MGS3 and have a modern control style. Number 13, Deus Ex. Deus Ex, which came out in 2000, is still held up by many as the greatest PC game of all time. You play as JC Denton working for UNATCO to stop global terrorism, back when that wasn't like a controversial thing to do and everybody thought it was pretty cool. Guys, can you imagine a AAA game coming out in 2025 where you fight terrorism? The men who wear dresses would all collectively soil their tampons if this happened. Deus Ex is so based because it's an immersive sim. It's a game about fighting terrorism where you are augmented with robotic tech in a futuristic world where basically every conspiracy theory ended up being true. Now, I mean this with 100% respect for the first game. Unless you played a ton of games on PC in the 90s, I think you're going to find it very, very hard to play Deus Ex 1 on PC. No amount of mods or textures or updates is going to change the fact that I think time has not been kind to this game. That being said, if you are new to the Deus Ex games, I recommend starting with Human Revolution from the 360 era or Mankind Divided from the PS4 era. These are both honestly really good games that are some of my favorites of all time. These stories have tons of twists and turns. You are a robotic badass killing machine trying to rid the world of terrorism. They are awesome. Now you should know these aren't fast-moving run-and-gun first-person games. Because they are immersive sims, they are meant to be harder and played just a bit slower. What I like about Deus Ex Mankind Divided is the game forces you to slow down and take in your environment, and it's not just about running through a level as fast as possible and killing everything. Number 12, Red Dead Redemption 2. What can be said about this game that hasn't already been said? It was Dan Houser's magnum opus before he left Rockstar. Arthur Morgan is one of the most based, badass characters in any game ever. I've talked to many guys who literally have just said because of how bad modern games are, they're probably just going to play Red Dead 2 forever. I also have a personal theory that this game, which came out in 2018, is probably going to be the last truly incredible AAA big budget game that we get, ever. In case you haven't noticed, AAA big budget studios are shuttering right now because they're filled with woke activists. All the base games being made right now are by smaller developers and indie developers, and so it's highly unlikely we will ever simply get a game this good again. There is a small amount of wokeness in this game. People have pointed to the fact that as Arthur, you are forced to celebrate feminists in this game, which is bullshit. Also, some people have pointed to Sadie Adler as kind of an annoying girl boss. Outside of just being really fun, RDR2 is one of the most beautiful games of all time. Every leaf, every tree, every gunshot, every animation is gorgeous, and I'm pretty sure we will never get a game like this again. Number 11, the Uncharted Trilogy. The Uncharted games follow the story of treasure hunter Nathan Drake. These games are so based because they're masculine. You're on an adventure. You have a love interest, Elena. You have a mentor, Sully. And the games at heart are about not getting so caught up in your goals and dreams that you neglect and forget about the people around you. These games are so based because they are packed with just being a regular bro. Nathan Drake is funny and likable, and the stories are amazing. If you're thinking of going back and playing one, I recommend Uncharted 2. I was playing it just the other day for a few hours, and it holds up really well. While Uncharted 4 is one of the most stunning-looking games of all time, Bagel Man Neil Druckmann had his hands all over it, so you know it's got woke nonsense injected all over the place. Also, Uncharted 4 was just depressing compared to the first three games, which were much more fun and lighthearted. The Uncharted DLC with the gay black girl boss is awful. You can play the first three Uncharted games on PC and on PlayStation. Number 10, the God of War Trilogy. Type this into AI. Does Kratos grow as a character during the first three God of War games? And the answer comes back, nope. I read this cringy line somewhere. He's no longer just the God of War. He's the God of growth. Are you kidding me? See, what a lot of people loved about Kratos is just how completely unhinged and rage-filled he is in the first three games, and this rage to destroy his enemies never goes away. Do I recommend being this way in real life? No, but it can be fun to be that in a character in a video game. And although God of War 2018 looks beautiful and it's all about Kratos growing as a person and being a dad and blah, 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 Sony kind of cucked him, didn't they? Like they turned Kratos into a soft millennial dad. Even David Jaffe, the guy who created the game and is a total leftist, hated what they did to Kratos. He thinks Kratos forever needs to stay this dude who just hooks up with lady gods, kills mightier gods, and is just a rage-fueled psychopath. I would say I'm torn on it. Yes, in my personal life, I want to grow as a person and follow Jesus and be a Christian. But what I do on a TV screen isn't real life. It's a video game. And sometimes it's fun to be a rage-filled psychopath in a video game. Like, guys, is anybody getting mad at Super Mario Brothers for property destruction? Like, come on. Some of y'all need to chill out. I guess what I'm saying is video games don't have to be this sort of narcissistic projection about what's going on in your life. That video games can just be like a fun thing that you do, you know? Number 19, PUBG. So I know this is going to trigger people, but PUBG on console and PC is one of the most based multiplayer games you could possibly play. Still. Now, have they recently added a bunch of corny skins and bright colors to PUBG? Sure, but all I do is kill those people. The reality is that PUBG was and always has been a military sim. I'm not joking. Look it up. PUBG started as a mod for Arma. When I'm playing it, we use military tactics in every game we play. PUBG has realistic physics, realistic bullet drop. PUBG doesn't have gay auto aim or aim assist. I've always said PUBG is the Dark Souls of shooters because it's freaking hard. I have probably put 1,200 hours into this game over the years with my friends, and it is still to this day a game I play a lot because it is unfathomably difficult and it has a very high skill ceiling. Crafton has never added anything to this game to make it unbalanced. It is still at heart a very realistic game. Basically, you just need to be a badass and you need to get good in order to be good at this game. Are there gay dances and emotes now? Sure, but none of that changes that the base game is pretty much perfect. Crafton owns PUBG and they're a Korean company, and Korea is pretty based. Fortnite copied PUBG, Warzone copied PUBG, Gapex copied PUBG, but PUBG is like a 1967 Mustang. It will always be the GOAT. It is the original that everyone copies. PUBG is the only battle royale game that I actually recommend. Oh, and the mobile version is trash. I'm not defending the mobile version at all. The mobile version is complete dog water, dog slop. Number 8, Splinter Cell. I put this game higher up than Metal Gear Solid because it is nationalistic and pro-military, meaning that it is more based than Metal Gear. When you talk about Giga Chads, the pinnacle Giga Chad is probably Sam Fisher. Silently throat-punching terrorists, dropping down from pipes and snapping necks. Splinter Cell is considered by many to be the greatest stealth game of all time. Like, guys, what a different world 2002 was. Back when Ubisoft only made based military games. Like, look how far we've come. We know the real reason Ubisoft hasn't made a Splinter Cell game the past 10 years is because there aren't any biological males left at the company anymore. You have to have a penis to make a game like this. Do you remember how you could grab people in this game and you would see their panicky face and they would just start telling you stuff? So good. I was playing Chaos Theory from 2005 recently, and what I forgot is these games are basically immersive sims. That's the genre where you can pretty much interact with everything in your environment and use it to your advantage. Now, I will say, going back to the original controls in order to play these games can be tough. The controls in the old Splinter Cell games on PS2 and Xbox have not aged well. I recommend playing Blacklist from 2013. I think it's available on most modern consoles. It's still a really, really good game. They just kind of streamlined the gameplay and made it a bit simpler to play. What I think we desperately need is a Splinter Cell reboot where the controls kind of feel maybe like Ghost Recon Wildlands or Breakpoint. A new Splinter Cell game with updated controls would be incredible. But again, no men at Ubisoft anymore, so it's probably not going to happen. Number 7, Halo. Can you imagine a pro-war, pro-America video game coming out today and it being as wildly successful as Halo was? If you want to see the complete decay of the video game industry, all you need to do is go back and play the Bungie Halo games and ask, who made these? I mean, it would be like a AAA game developer in 2025 coming out with a pro-Trump video game. Like, never going to happen. And this is because the entire video game industry are child lovers, they're pathetic, and they're gay, and they're woke now. Now, I understand that Halo is a metaphor, but what is indisputable here is that the Covenant were meant to symbolize radical Islamic fundamentalism, and Master Chief and the UNSC were meant to symbolize America. So in a very real way, Halo is about the war in the Middle East. I'm sorry, it just is. Now, I know all Islamic people are not like the Covenant. I think it's great when Islamic culture is not violent, and I have a ton of fans who are Islamic, just to be clear. But the evil which Master Chief and UNSC are combating in these games is a radical religious devotion that leads to the killing of innocent people. Hopefully, we can all agree that's wrong. And of course, as you will remember, at the end of Halo 3, the Arbiter locks arms with Master Chief, as it were, so that they can both face and fight the real enemy, the Flood. But of course, ever since Halo 4 in 2012, Halo has been fully gay and woke. But the original Halo games were filled with Christian imagery. They were pro-America games. They were anti-religious fanaticism games. I could go on and talk about how Halo changed console shooters forever, how Halo invented recharging health, how the game pioneered multiplayer console shooters, but I'm going to stop there. Master Chief is based as hell, and the original Halo games, being Halo 1, 2, 3, and Reach, are based as heck. Number 6, Dark Souls. Instead of talking about Bloodborne and Elden Ring and all of the spinoffs, I will just talk about the OG FromSoft game that started it all. Not Demon Souls, but Dark Souls. I will never forget playing this game and getting stuck at a boss and my simple self thinking that I could just grind the area for a few hours and become more powerful and easily beat the boss. Oh, what a fool I was. Dark Souls and all of the From Software games are so good because they only have one difficulty and they simply force you to get better at the game. There's no easy way out. There's no lowering the difficulty. There's no grinding to become more powerful. You simply have to get good, as they say. And this, boys, is why Dark Souls is so masculine and so based and so popular. People don't actually want a game to be nice to you. People secretly want a game to be punishingly hard. I think that is the secret of Dark Souls' success. Number 5, and we're down to the home stretch now. The 5th most based game of all time, Doom. There is possibly no character more based than the Doom guy. According to his creators, he is canonically Catholic. All of the games are about him going to hell and killing all the demons. The two villains in Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal are both feminist women. So I haven't gotten a chance to play Doom the Dark Ages through to the end yet, but I'm hearing that Doom guy isn't even the star of his own story, and there's probably an ugly girl boss in it. But what I can say emphatically is that from a standpoint of game difficulty and general basedness, Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal are incredibly based. I have many friends who simply can't beat Doom Eternal on the hardest difficulty. Apparently, it's just too hard. Take that, accessibility, folks. Pretty much every Doom fan I know was very, very happy with the 2016 reboot. I actually prefer the 2016 reboot to Doom Eternal, but you should definitely play both of them. Doom guy is canonically a Christian, and all he does is kill demons in hell. These games are ultra based. Number 4, the tactical shooter genre. So I realized there were simply too many based games to include in this list, so in the final 5, I'm beginning to include genres. I'm planning to do a video soon about how the tactical shooter genre was killed off, but if you have never played a tactical shooter, you need to go play one right now. Did you know there was a time when AAA military games weren't just Call of Duty or Battlefield? Did you know there was a time military games emphasized tactics in games rather than individual glory? I have played these games recently, and I still think they hold up really well, and you should check them out. Rainbow Six 3 on Xbox and PS2, Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2 on 360, Conflict Global Terror on PS2 and Xbox, Ghost Recon 2 on the OG Xbox, Brothers in Arms Hell's Highway, I'm pretty sure it's on PS4 too, and of course SOCOM on the original PS2. Boys, do you know the satisfaction of hitting a button to tell your boys to breach a door as you smash through the wood and have seconds to take terrorists down? And this is like not a cinematic, it's actual gameplay. Do you know the satisfaction in Brothers in Arms of executing a flanking maneuver on an enemy you couldn't take down solo? Call of Duty took all these gameplay moments from tactical shooters and instead made them unskippable, unfailable cinematic moments. What I love about the OG Rainbow Six games is that they built these tense moments into the gameplay. You actually relied on your team members instead of them being completely optional or unimportant like in Call of Duty. Brothers in Arms Hell's Highway is another one I recommend. If you run directly into a war zone, you will die. So you have to position your troops to give you cover fire so you can plan your attack. Tactical shooters actually show you what real-life combat encounters are like, and this is why these games are unfathomably based. And look, I'm not hating on Call of Duty. Y'all know I love the old Call of Duty games. They're very scripted and they're more cinematic. But the fact is, old tactical shooter games actually tried to create a semi-realistic combat scenario instead of something like what Call of Duty did. Oh, Full Spectrum Warrior is another one that I just remembered. All right, guys, we are down to the final 3, the 3 most based video games of all time. Number 3, Escape from Tarkov. Guys, I don't even play Tarkov very much, but for the few days that I did, I knew that this game was simply too based for me to play it. EFT is the father of extraction shooters. It will always be the GOAT, and unless they are able to fix their cheating problem, I think it will always be the most popular. PUBG is to Battle Royale as Tarkov is to the extraction shooter. When you get into a game, there's no map, there's no HUD, there's no hand-holding. You just kind of have to figure things out as you go. You bring a ton of gear into an area. You die, you get looted, and you lose all of it. Don't know where you got killed from? Oops, that sucks. EFT, as far as multiplayer games go, is the most based and masculine and difficult game I think I have ever played. You also can't really play it if you have kids because you're just going to get distracted and probably lose everything. I quit playing it because I realized I just didn't have the time to devote to it. but there is nothing that will make your pulse race more than playing Tarkov. Number 2, the military simulation genre.
Negative, it's too far. I have to take Hex and go to LZ.
This bomb run's coming in pretty close.
Guys, there is nothing more based on Earth than Arma 3. In Arma 3, you just sit quietly in a bunker or something waiting for somebody to come. Nobody comes and you log off. Now, are milsims incredibly boring most of the time? Yes. But are they unfathomably based? Also, yes. Arma 3 is the father of milsims. Milsims that are a bit more approachable would be Squad, Hell Let Loose, Gray Zone Warfare, etc. Imagine a game where instead of spawning in and dying immediately like Call of Duty, you spawn in and ride 10 minutes in a truck to get to the front lines and then get killed immediately. Squad is a bit more accessible than Arma, and I think probably most closely recreates what it would be like to be in a real conflict in, say, Iraq or something. And I mean, obviously, the real battlefield is completely different, but it tries to get close. Some people were saying Arma Reforger is a lot more accessible and easy to get into. No, I did not find that to be the case. Arma Reforger was just as confusing to me as Arma, and I was not able to get into it either. Now, I can absolutely see the appeal of milsims, and I even sometimes enjoy them. Very long periods of complete silence, a map that doesn't even show you where you are most of the time, different levels of radio communication with your squad, your commander, your general. I haven't found a milsim that really pulled me in yet, but I'm putting them in the number 2 spot because these games are unfathomably based just because they're so realistic. Milsims are trying to create a realistic battle simulation, and I think they do a pretty good job of that. It's just unfortunate that at the end of the day, they are too esoteric for most people, and most guys just want to boot up a video game and have fun for a few hours. I wouldn't say, quote, fun is the goal of the milsim. The appeal of the milsim for its fans is military role play. These are people who want to role play in various military roles. All right, number 1. What is Andrew's most based game of all time? And you know it already. It has to be Kingdom Come Deliverance. I say this is the most based game of all time for many reasons. Number 1, it is hard as hell and explains almost nothing to you. Number 2, it is set in a realistic time period and strives for realism at every point, or at least the first one did. Number 3, the game is explicitly Christian and even lets you become a priest. Number 4, in all of the towns you go to, people say, Jesus Christ be praised, which is awesome. The story is incredibly based. It's incredibly well told. The game is such a realistic depiction of medieval Europe. You play as Henry and you can make all kinds of choices about your life. Just to see what would happen, I expressed romantic interest in this one girl, and then I had Henry go to the prostitute house and then come back, and the girl knew all about it and was basically like, I don't want to be your wife anymore. But that just shows you how good this game is at roleplay. So I probably put 40 hours into this game before I gave up. The combat is punishingly hard and makes almost no sense. I was never able to fight more than one person at a time without dying. I remember struggling at this one point in the game where I was dying over and over again to these guards. So then I thought, why don't I just go to sleep, wake up at 3 a.m. and stab them in their beds as they sleep? So I did that, and it was awesome. Pretty much every enemy in KCD2 you can do this with. If they're too hard, just find out where they sleep at night and stab them in their sleep. And I realize this is a totally dishonorable bitch move, but guys, this game is hard. Now, just to be clear, do not buy this game digitally. Make sure you get a physical copy of this game somehow. I say that because Bagels own Warhorse Studios now. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 was full of gay, woke, Jewish propaganda, and they took Satan's money to make their second game. So this is why I say get a physical copy of the first game, which you can probably find for $10. Do not buy this game digitally because it will give money to Warhorse Studios, and they're full of gay communists now. I made an entire video about this if you want to see it, but basically the main character was straight and based and awesome in Kingdom Come 1, and then in Kingdom Come 2, they made Henry explicitly gay. So that was when I decided I was completely done with the Kingdom Come games. All right, boys, I hope you enjoyed the list. A few final games I couldn't fit into this list for various reasons. Witcher 3. I got to the end of this list and kicked myself because I forgot to put it in. Witcher 1, 2, and 3 are obviously some of the most based games of all time, but CDPR has gone fully woke in recent years, and if you honestly think Witcher 4 isn't going to be girl boss slop, then I don't know what to tell you, but yeah, Witcher 3 was awesome. Ghost of Tsushima. This is an unfathomably based game that I just didn't have space to put in. I also think Ghost of Yotei has clearly gone fully girl boss, so Sucker Punch clearly is not a very base studio, and I don't want to give them any credit anymore. Half-Life 2. Despite this game being one of the most influential first-person games of all time, it has woke elements, and they're clearly mocking people on the right. Ready or Not. Didn't include this because of recent censorship, and I sort of want to see how that pans out. Duke Nukem, yet another incredibly based game series I wish I could have fit into the list. Fallout New Vegas, I really wanted to include this game, but it does have leftist stuff and gay stuff in it, so by definition, it's not very based. And here's a list of everything else I wanted to include that didn't make it into the video. Army of Two, Project Zomboid, seriously probably the best zombie game I've ever played. Prototype 1 and 2, I didn't include them because you're technically a bad guy. Kane and Lynch, Dead Rising, Super Metroid, Dying Light, Max Payne #1, AC Black Flag, Just Cause 3, Red Faction Guerrilla, Medal of Honor, Saints Row 1 and 2, Age of Empires 2, and finally America's Army. Guys, the America's Army game is completely ridiculous. You should check it out. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. If you want to support what I'm doing here so that I can make more videos, please click on the link to Locals down below. Locals is this awesome site that allows you to support based right-wing creators. I've never seen anybody get canceled on this website, unlike Patreon. Apparently, Patreon pulls people's funding all the time. But Locals is based, it's right-wing, and it's awesome. So please check it out. All right, see you guys.